Well, hey, hello there, everybody. I haven't just been on a little chat session here for a while. I've been Kiss concerts and things like that, and watching things on The View and this, that, and everything. And I come to the realization of racial inequality and an inequality in diversity in how the population is reflected on television, movies, politics, political leaders, place people in power and people crying about racial injustice. So, hey, it's my turn. Can you take a look? I'm Irish and German. Can you see how light my skin is? It's amazing. But you know what? Even though my skin is so light, it has a color. I'm a colored person. It's hilarious. But I looked on governmental diversity websites and gained information, and people that look like me are still 77 to 78% of the population, which would mean when I'm watching a movie, I should see 78% of the people are white. When I watch TV, 78% of the people should be white. Every time there's some kind of a political thing going on, 78% of the politicians should look like me, which they don't, especially sheriffs and things. They seem to be an overabundance of black sheriffs in our country. But what's funny is, if it's a white guy, they say the sheriff. If it's a black guy, they say the African American sheriff. Unless there's an injustice against another black, then he just becomes a sheriff. And if the officer committed an injustice against another black and he's black, then the African American words all get thrown out and everybody are just suspect and officer. But if they're people that look like me, nobody cares. We're just called whatever. So it's kind of starting to confuse me, along with the fact that we don't need to talk about just the transgendered. Let's take the transgendered and throw them in with the gender confused and with the gays and lesbians, okay? Which are 4.5% of the population. Really. But every TV program's got them shoved down my throat. Like every other person is gay, lesbian, or a transsexual. So why isn't this diversity reflective of the actual population? This is getting to be a problem. I know through efforts of interracial couples and marriages and this and that. I know the underlying goal of the Democratic Party is to have no race identity at all, and we'll all be just so mixed that no one will know who anybody is. And if we could introduce a few more languages, no one could speak to anybody. It's bad enough now that we have to have hands and stuff on the street lights because we can't have stop and walk. And we can't have red and green because there's nobody to teach the people that don't speak English what red and green mean. So I kind of went off base a little bit, and there's some other stuff I forgot about. But with that said, the percentages just don't play out, and I don't know why. All right? Why am I supposed to be so evil when I just happen to be the majority of the country? People that look like me are the majority of the country. So if we're in a diverse society, and I'm over 75%, over 3/4 of the population happens to be me, then that's what should be reflected. Blacks are 13 to 15% of the population. I don't have a problem with blacks. I've worked with blacks, had black friends, and none of this bothers me. But if they're 13 to 15% of the population, why are they shoved down my throat like they're 80% of the population? Why are they always crying like they're being held down under somebody's thumb? Why does anybody that has a darker skin tone, like Sonny Hostin on The View, who's Puerto Rican, want to clutch onto that and claim the black card? You're not black, you're Puerto Rican with a big mouth. a lack of respect, and you don't know how to act and how to talk to people that are in positions that demand respect, such as the President of the United States. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg, you can speak your piece. Life's good, right? We're all allowed to speak our piece. But for crying out loud, if you look in a mirror, at least clean yourself up a little bit, get a decent hairdo, and but then show some respect. You don't say, "Oh, the guy in the White House," now, because I'm not going to mention his name. Well, if I said, I'm not going to ever, what's the word? I'm never going to acknowledge the fact that Obama was ever president. I'm just going to say that. We had a gap between George W. Bush and Donald Trump. There was just this gap here where we threw some community organizer in there to play around for 8 years. See, lack of respect. But, other hand, hey, black father, white mother, it's not your first black president. He's mixed. But then they want to say, then you also want to go with the rule. Do you go with just the father? No. You say if there's one drop of black blood, that makes it a black person. Well, if there's one drop of white blood, why isn't that individual a white person? Our skin tones are all screwed up now. Nobody can tell who's anything, because our facial structures have all changed because of all the interracial breeding, which I'm not saying that's good or bad. If people fall in love, that's fine, but why have we reached a point where it's always seems to be, or at least on television, it's always a white woman and a black guy. Always, 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 always. Just like women of all ages. Tattoos. Always, 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 always. All over them. And nobody knows why. So what are we doing to ourselves? And then it's all this, especially people like Whoopi Goldberg. Don't tell me what I can do with my body. I'll kill that baby. Well, understand, right? There's two lives going on there. The life inside you is not you. So anyone that's so pro-abortion, what's inside the mother is a separate life. There's two lives. The life of the mother and the life of the baby. That's just how it is. So you can't see what you're doing with your body. The choice of what you do with your body ends when you decide to have sex. You decided to have sex. You conceived. You grew. Something's growing. Especially now that I've learned it right at the moment of conception. Not intercourse, but conception. The whole DNA pattern for one unique individual is already laid out. Hair color, size, weight, structure, what kind of diseases to be prone to. It's all there right then, right now. And then just a few short weeks later, we got the face, we got the legs, the fingers, the fingernails, the hands, the feet. We got it all there. We got the kicking, right? The kicking, the movement. We have life. And now we have more than one state now wants to, even if the baby survives the attempt to abort it, which I guess they'll do more of these dismemberment abortions now, where they just go in with the forceps and they rip the baby apart limb by limb while the poor baby is screaming in agony inside the mother's stomach. And then they piece it all together because if anything's left, she'll get infected. But they were using a lot of these horrible ass saline abortions, with the idea being real strong salines injected in there. And it's supposed to go through the innards of the baby and burn it from the inside and kill it, and also completely submerge the outside of the baby and the strong saline solution. So to completely burn it from the inside and the outside and kill it due to the saline burns. And I've seen several interviews now on social media of people who have survived these horrific procedures, and they live productive lives now. But they said, hey, my mother tried to kill me and burn me from the inside out, but I came out alive. But now, the Democratic Party wanting to have abortion all the way through and past birth while the baby is kept comfortable, and the doctors and the powers that be decide, should the poor guy get to see day 2, or should we execute him? Because mom really never didn't want him to begin with. Of course, she didn't have an abortion at week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now she went full term, gave birth to the baby. Or maybe she went the 6-month deal and the baby came out and he wasn't dead. He fought for life and he survived. God held his hand and said, not this one. So you wrapped him up and kept him comfortable and you had a discussion. What the hell is there to discuss? He's out. He's out. He's wrapped up. He's out. He's in his lounge chair smoking a cigar with a can of beer in his hand while you're in the other room saying, hey, I know you wanted an abortion, but he's out. He's crying. He's hollering. He's screaming. What do you want to do? Well, I told you I didn't want him. Okay, well, we'll go in and slit his throat. I don't know how in the hell, what method they use to execute. But let's not do that to a murderer or an illegal alien that kills a citizen of the United States. Let's not just cut their head and let them bleed out on the 50-yard line at some public venue, some public football field, to let people know what happens if you come in here illegally and harm an American citizen. No, don't do that. And especially if they have a skin tone like me. People like me have to walk around carrying weapons to protect themselves, because we're the ones that are going to get attacked. And before you start any of this other horse shit, I had a partial left rotator tear. I was pulled over. They weren't happy with the answers. They were going to do more investigation. So they were going to handcuff me. I informed a officer, white officer, so I'm not going to blame a race thing. See, I'm not going there. I said, hey, I got a partial tear in my left rotator cuff. I'm scheduled for surgery. Please, don't hurt me any more than what it's hurt. Yeah, big smile and a laugh. Grabbed both arms, especially that left one, slammed it as far back as he could. I screamed out in pain and said, get in the car. I said, but the seats are all the way back. There's nowhere for my legs. Just shut up and get in, and pushed me in the car on my bad shoulder. So, I requested medical attention. All I was done was laughed at. After all that was over with, before the surgery, I told the doctor what happened. So we did a second MRI. He said, congratulations. It's not a partial tear anymore. They did a fine job. It's completely torn from the bone. And of course, right, I did the whole thing through internal affairs. And see, even a white guy, you can't get nothing done. And you can't hire a lawyer to go against a cop. They all say no. So there you go. There's how all that happened. My door was beaten on mistakenly. So I had 3 white officers at my front door when I opened it after I heard it being beat on, looking through my dining room window, which you can see everything through, and a cop mouthing the words, open your door. I said, okay. I opened my door, 3 white officers, right? 3 Glocks right against my forehead. So, hey, we've all been there, right? And it turned out, of course, they didn't need to be there. I didn't need to be monkeyed with, and everything was cleared up. But hey, right, one little twitch, especially by the cop that was so damn mad because I had my little Pomeranian in my arms because he'll bolt into the traffic. And he said, put that fucking dog down now. I said, man, I can't put the dog down. He'll run out in the street. Now, I still got 3 guns on my head, right? He says, I'm not going to say it again. I said, put that motherfucking dog down. I said, man, I told you. It's not going to happen. I've lived a good enough life. I'm not scared to die. You got 3 guns on my forehead. You'll find out you got no reason to be here. They feel froggy. Pull the trigger. I'll be dead. You'll have to answer for it. The dog will run in the street and get killed too. There'll be a lot of money go everywhere. TV will be all over this shit. Just because you're an asshole in a uniform. Alright? But, 4 involved, all white. I'm white, so we don't want to hear any of this stuff. We're all colored. You got the NAACP, the National Association of Colored Persons. But of course, I can't join. But then again, I'm colored. I have a color. And if I call someone black a colored person, they don't punch me out. But they have an organization. They have the Negro College Fund. But if I call a black person a Negro, he's going to punch me out. But I don't go with this African American shit, Asian American. Don't you understand? Anytime you choose to hyphenate yourself off as a subculture, rather than just call yourself an American, because what is there? Nothing. There's nothing for me. I guess I should be called white European American, right? Irish and German. I'm a white European American, but no, I'm just called an American. I worked in a big company where we had employees from all over the world, because there were over 5,000 people working there. And I talked to this gal. She was from Jamaica, and she says, "Keith, what the hell is going on here?" I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "You got African American, Asian American, Hispanic American, white Hispanic, not white Hispanic. What the hell?" She says, "Back in Jamaica, believe it or not, everybody doesn't look like me. We have all different kinds of people, all different races, all different skin colors, but we're all just called Jamaicans." I said, "What an interesting concept." I kind of remember when we were all just called Americans. But, we've been bled into this bullshit from the left for everybody to be different, everybody to hate each other, while you blame Donald Trump for it. But what did Donald Trump do? Donald Trump produced what? The lowest black unemployment in history. The lowest Asian unemployment in history. The lowest Hispanic unemployment in history. What did he do? He did all these things. What did Obama do? Put people on food stamps and fake freaking medical insurance. So hey, if you want to talk the deal, talk straight. Talk straight, man. So you don't like the guy because he talks like me. And he does talk like me. And that's why people like me will follow me. But even when he fucks up, because he's going to fuck up. Well, what happened? Gas got too high. I watched the rally. He says, "I'm going to call over to the OPEC ministry and say, hey, shit ain't cutting it. You're going to charge us this much? Going to be repercussions." So what happened? At least where I live, gas went down 20 cents overnight. So the front page of my internet said Trump was in contact with OPEC. So I mean, there you go. When we're the people spending the money, supporting the world, when we're the people with all the green stamps, and we're the people with all the weapons, there's never any reason for fear. There's never any reason to say we'll walk from the deal. It's what would happen if we closed the southern border? We're not going bankrupt. Mexico will. We can live without anything coming out of Mexico. We can, right? Well, you say, all the unemployment that would happen. No, we would just have to open up plants to make the things that we get from Mexico, which would do what? Put the Americans that lost their jobs back to work. So, we have all the cards with everybody. And it's just time. All these countries that give these people all these things that the left wants to say they'll give us for free. Well, these countries that do it, they do that because they do it on our dime. You as a taxpayer, you can't have a free college education, so a German can. Because we're paying for their defense. So it works that way the whole way. If you're an illegal alien, well, I can't have a free college education because we're spending all this damn money feeding these illegals and giving them health care and all this other crap. There you go. We have a system to let people in. Try to go to Mexico and just cross the border and say, hey, I'm just going to squat here and be a Mexican. See what happens. They have some of the strongest laws there are. Try to go to Canada and just walk over and say, I'm going to be here. And the amazing thing there is they got all this frickin' land and no people. But for some reason, man, it costs like a fortune to build a house and live in Canada. So there's no escape there. So anyway, this is a long one. Most people won't make it through it. I hope you do. But hey, let's hear it for racial equality and for diversity equality. Don't get mad. Don't get pissed off. Don't hate me because I'm 3/4 of the population. But hey, if you're 15% of the population, that's how you should be represented on television and in the movies. Everything should be so accurate as to what and who we really are. And that's what I'm going to sign off with. I'm tired of everybody wanting to put their thumb down on me. I'm fed up with it. Show me. Show me, right? Don't always show all these. Time after time now with these tragedies, it's one black sheriff after another. How do we have so damn many black sheriffs? You say, well, Keith, against black sheriffs? No. But they're 15% of the population, so that means 15% of the sheriffs ought to be black. But I see one after the other, 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 after the other. And look at all these idiots that, right? All these idiots that these Democrats want to run for 2020. Give us a break. Look at them. Look where they come from. And the straightest one of the bunch is Creepy Uncle Joe. But they won't ask him anything about being Creepy Uncle Joe. But tell you what, go to YouTube. You can't get any further than Creepy Un. And all that pulls up is Joe Biden clips. You go Creepy UN. And all that pulls up. You would think there'd be some cartoons or something. No, the whole frickin' thing, as far as you can line it out and keep swiping, it's all Joe Biden clips. So there it is. There it will be. And, hey, I don't look all that great today either, but at least, whoopee, look at my hair. See that? Man, that sure as hell looked better than whatever the hell you were trying to wear today with those half-ass braids and this whole side of your head shaved down to nothing. And okay, hey, I'm fat too, but I don't wear this, whatever you call these shirts and these goofy-ass shoes that you wear, right? But at least you don't come out like Sonny Hassan thinking that you're the sweetest thing that ever lived with that smile and like mistreating the speaker today, mistreating Newt Gingrich with the short little segment you gave him on there, wanting to cut him off and say, no, you're wrong. Yeah, Sonny, if you were all you say you'd be the Attorney General of the United States, and if not, at this point in time, you would have been at some point. But no, you weren't. So there we go. So shut up. So you went to law school. All you are now is a TV person. And they need to quit bitching about Meghan McCain every time she cuts in, because they won't ever let her finish whatever the hell she wants to say. They just all jump in on her. Right? Split the damn panel. Show the diversity on the panel. Okay? There's what? 5 women? There's, Sonny's not black. She's Puerto Rican, but she claims to be black. So let's call her black. We got Sonny Hostin, Whoopi Goldberg, Anna Navarre. So 3 out of 5 are minorities. You have 2 white. But, like it or not, 77 to 78% of the population's white. So why do we have 3 minorities and 2 white women on The View? Not reflective of who we are. Why do we have 4 leftists and one Republican. Think about it, right? So it's a rigged system. It's fake news. It's bullshit. Have a nice day, everybody.